Hey guys, welcome to another recent viewing video, and I'm sorry if the lighting is weird. I'm actually doing this during the day, and a lot of my recent videos have come later on, usually after it's dark. But anyway, I just got done watching an interesting little movie called Z for Zachariah. And I first saw this movie a couple weeks back when it released, at least when it came out for sale at my store. And I don't know, it drew me in first because of its cast. Like, it stars Margot Robbie, and there's Chris Pine, and I can't even imagine trying to pronounce the name of the other guy in the movie. I guess I could just try to look this up really quick and see, because I think he's an amazing actor. But his name, it's just, let's see. No, this doesn't have Chiwetel Ejiofor? Chiwetel? Wikipedia is giving me a pronunciation that basically looks like Chiwetel Ejiofor. So I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He was in Serenity, the Firefly movie, Children of Men, that I've seen. I own 12 Years a Slave, but I haven't watched it yet. What else has he done here recently? I guess he's going to be in the new Doctor Strange. He's in The Martian, 2012, American Gangster, Inside Man, Four Brothers. So, I mean, he's been in a fairly large number of movies that I have heard of, and a handful that I have actually seen. So anyway, I didn't want to spend that much time on that, but I didn't think it would be right for me to mangle his name, but also not to mention his name. Anyway, that movie stars those three, and that's it. So I see the three of them on the cover. I see Margot Robbie with like brunette hair instead of blonde, like I'm used to with her. She who is in Focus and the Wolf of Wall Street. And I feel like I've seen something else that she was in, and I'm just forgetting it right now. And of course, Chris Pine, who was in the new Star Trek movies, and who has done several other things. I haven't seen I've probably seen less movies of his than the other two. But anyway, so I see them on the cover, and I'm like, okay, this looks interesting. The title of it really didn't tell me much of anything. I look at the back, I check to see, like what the movie is about, and it's a post-nuclear war movie about a girl who lives in this little town and is apparently untouched by fallout and the ravages of this war that has happened sometime in the past few years. And the movie just plops you right into her life, just her going to a town, scavenging for supplies, including things like books from a library. She's getting food, she's got a dog with her, she's got a gun. She covers herself in her own kind of makeshift hazmat suit, basically. But then when she gets home, she takes it all off. She takes a bath and just scrubs herself down really good. And then she just, has this existence of, she's alive, she has survived, that's amazing. She's making good for herself, finding food and things to, I guess, preoccupy her time. The movie made me think about, what would I do if nuclear war had happened, fallout had happened, places on the planet were just untouchable, and I would just happen to be in an area where I could still survive, but I'd have no electricity. And of course, in my situation, I wouldn't even have like a well of water like she did. But even if I did find myself where I had the basic amenities to survive, food and water and shelter, without electricity, without stuff to preoccupy myself like all that shit back there, what would I do? I know I wouldn't make out as good as she had in this movie. So anyway, one day she's out scavenging for stuff, and she comes back, and she's on her way back home. Or I think it was the second time that she had been out, and she had been hunting. She'd set up little traps, I guess, to probably get things like squirrels and ferrets and other little rodent type animals. And she gets alerted to the presence of something by her dog, and it's like some sort of little pull-along trailer, like the kind of thing you'd stick on the back of a little vehicle. And there's this guy in a full hazmat suit, like a legit hazmat suit, who comes back to it. And she watches him and kind of pursues him for a while until she sees that he goes to this source of water, and because he's like, there's not as much radiation here, I can get out of this suit, I can breathe, look, there's water, and he jumps into it. Well, this is water coming from outside of the valley that she lives in, so she just like, she reveals herself to him and begs for him to get out of there because it's going to hurt him. And she takes him in, he's sick, but he has medicine and things in his little trailer because he's like this research scientist who survived the nuclear war in a bunker underground, a government facility, and finally, after so long of being there, he was like, this is not the life I would want for myself after the nuclear situation. So he gets out of there and tries to find some place where he can just live a better life than that. So she takes him in and nurses him back to health, and the movie basically just kind of continues on with her and him, and sort of there's a bit of a tension, but of course they're two people who probably haven't seen another human being in for so long that there's an attraction that forms between the two of them, a bond and a relationship, and between her smarts and work ethic and the situation that she's left in, and his smarts towards scientific stuff and engineering stuff, they realize that they can kind of have themselves a life and rebuild. It was what I loved how there was a moment in the movie where he says something like that, and it kind of dawns on her exactly what he's talking about. But it's still, I mean, two people get together, and if they have some kids, where do those kids go from there? If they have a boy and a girl, you're not going to restart society by an incestuous relationship. So there were a lot of questions there. There's a lot of, and I'm seeing a biblical thing in there, but the movie pushed very much a religious overtone. She was highly religious, and the third person, Chris Pine's character, who comes in later on, was also religious, and there was a lot of the I guess the religious overtones you would expect in a situation like that. I'm not going to get too much into that because even though I appreciated it as a plot point in the movie, I don't really have much to add to it. But it was there, and the triangle that was created and the stress and the tension in there were definitely heavy in the movie at that point. And at the end, it's even kind of ambiguous as to what just really happened. What happened in that movie, because, spoiler alert or whatever, but at the end of the movie, Caleb has left. You don't see him leave. You see him in a precarious position with, did I just say Caleb? Because that was Chris Pine's character's name in the movie, John, Caleb, and Anne. But you see him in a position where he almost had an accident, and John saves him, but then it looks like he could have done something heinous to him there if he wanted to. But all we see is John come back to Anne and say that Caleb left, took the suit, and decided to go on as he had originally planned. So you don't know what happens at the end. It was interesting for them to do that, to have one of those kind of like ambiguous endings, or at least a major ambiguous plot point that's not addressed. But I don't know, I guess other than, I kind of wanted to know what happened. I'm struggling right now here to I'm balancing between those moments with movies where I'm okay with not really knowing what's going on and the being upset, because I do want to know what's going on, and I would have liked the movie to not take what some people would say is an easy way out, and other people would laud it for being, that's great, thank you for doing that. Let us make our own decisions. But there's either either he was like, okay, John could have killed me here and he didn't. He's a good guy. I came in and disturbed what was going on here. I'll just go ahead and go. Or there's he killed the guy and lied to her just so that he could keep the sanctity of what he felt like he had started to create there. I don't know. I guess people should just watch it if they want to make their own determination as to what happened. But I was just this was a movie that like didn't blow me away. I'm not like clamoring now to run out and pick it up. What I am impressed with the movie is that I was thinking of this earlier. A lot of movies, I'd say a majority of movies these days, take a journey and they start at one place and they step all the way, in a single file line to the end, and they just take you there, and whatever happens along the way, it's pretty standard, it's pretty formulaic or whatever. And then a lot of good movies take you on a journey, but they don't necessarily just step, rank and file, left, right, in a straight line. A lot of times they deviate over here and over there. Sometimes they skip, like hopscotch. Sometimes they're jumping from rock to rock through a creek. Sometimes they're just all over the place. But when they do that, at least in my opinion, a movie benefits greatly from not just being, I guess cookie cutter. And I don't know, that's pretty damn obvious, I guess. I guess what I'm just trying to say is, at times in this movie, I thought the writing and the storytelling was done in such a way that it didn't feel like just the same old crap. And I like that from a movie that was, if it wasn't straight to DVD or straight to on demand, I'm sure it didn't get a huge wide release in theaters. I had never heard of it until I saw it on the store shelves. And a lot of those movies that go straight to store shelves can just be utter crap. And this wasn't horrible. So anyway, that's my thoughts on Z for Zachariah. Kind of an unusual movie. And I have a couple more movies that I've rented that I have to watch soon. So I'll have some more of these at some point in the near future. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys.